Hello, good night. How are you?
Good night. How are you?
I am fine. Everything is going good. I'm just in my room. I can't go out. I am just sitting here because I am trying to have the less contact that I can. It's quite hard, but everything is going good. My son, no, my cousin was with us, but was going so bad, all the symptoms and etc. So my aunt take him today, and now I'm just taking care of my mom and my grandma. My mom is getting better. My mom is so. No, my mom is getting better. My grandma is so. She's like hurting her neck, and it's hard to eat or to drink some stuff. So was so hard, and all of this happens because of my cousin had the last shot, and I don't know what happened, but all the symptoms come so hard, and then my grandma, my mom, become infected. So was crazy. It was really hard.
Yes, I can imagine. And do you have COVID too, or
No, no.
no?
Like on Friday, I felt a little bit like heavy, but I was thinking that it's just because I'm having a lot of work, so I feel tired. And on Sunday, I feel like my legs hurts, like quite tired. But I'm okay. I am going good. I'm not having like flu or fever or any of this.
Yeah,
I am good.
that's great. Almost you are fine and you can take care of your mother, your grandma.
Yeah,
That
imagine.
happened the same with me. I thought that I had COVID too, but I hadn't symptoms. I was fine and I had a direct contact with a COVID person, but I felt fine. So I don't understand, but maybe we are asymptomatic.
Yes, without symptoms. Or yeah, symptomatics. Okay, so today we have a different topic. Today we will start to talk about medical negligence. So this is like a parenthesis in our topic about private law, because this topic it's really heavy, and I want to have it's just one session class, but I want to make it more complete because it's so extensive and it's really interesting. So, how was your experience with the video that I sent today? Did you have the opportunity to check it? What was your perception? Maybe the explanation was quite hard, or maybe you noticed a difference with your legal system. So, I am here listening.
Okay. Well, I watched the video and it's very worrying because I think that happened in everywhere every day. Um, I don't know what to think about that because we are talking about other lives. If you are a doctor, I think you have to take care many things to avoid kill other person. It's not like our career that if we do something wrong we can fix. I was watching the video and I remember a situation that happened in my city. Actually it is about my friend's father. His father went to the dentist. He needs surgery of one of his teeth, and the dentist put him a lot of anesthesia. Anesthesia.
Anesthesia.
Uh, Anesthesia.
Suena como una anestesia.
Okay. Anesthesia, and his father couldn't wake up. Couldn't wake up. The doctor told to my friend, your father will wake up in a pair of days. After some days, his father continued the hospital. And a pair of months, I read an article, a post on his Facebook, and he said there is more than 5 years, and you continue sleeping. I don't know if you are here in the world or you are in the sky. You just are sleeping, and our government,
My
our
goodness.
our authorities don't do something about that situation. He is paying a lot of the clinics because his father is like vegetal. He just breathe, but he can talk, he can eat. He just is asleep. And we have some norms, and this norm protect the doctor, dentist when they make some mistake when they are working in his own profession. And sometimes I think that is bad, especially for the clients, for other people, because what happened with my friend, if my friend just worked to pay the hospital just for that, because we don't have euthanasia. So he has to pay every day for his father. His father continued in the hospital more than 5 years, and nobody say something about that. And just today, before you send us the topic, I read other posts on Facebook, and it was the same about the dentist. It is about a case about a girl. This girl had 11 years old. She went to the dentist, and the dentist told her, you have to brush your teeth with this toothpaste. She told him, I can consume milk and other things with milk because I have allergy. And the dentist say, okay, yes, I know, but you need a calcium in your tooth. So calcium, okay. You need calcium in your tooth. So he gave her the toothpaste. She brushed her tooth, and after minutes, she felt something strange in her mouth. Her mouth was blue, and her mother picked her and went to the hospital, and she died. And she was 11 years old. So I think it's how can I say that, delicado,
complex, is a fragile
fragile topic, because we had problems here in my country around 2 years ago, because people asked for avoid this norm to protect doctor, because there are many doctors that do many mistakes, and sometimes it's because they don't have idea about what they are doing, and they just say it's not negligence. Negligence is because your body doesn't respond as I expect, but it's not my problem. And if you go to the court or you go to the trial, it is probably that you lost. So people asked for avoid these norms, but the doctors didn't work like a month because they was in strike, paro, too.
right?
So strikes. So we continue with this norm that protect doctors, dentists. If they make some mistakes, they are fine, because they just say, I was working and it's your body, it's not my business. And they are also some lawyers that there are doctors too that protect his friend or their friends. I know a doctor. He is a lawyer too. He always try to present his paper in favor of this doctor. always is about negligence, and always this doctor give papers trying to avoid that type of negligence. They just said is her body, is his body, is not our fault. So that is too sad.
Okay, we will learn something tonight, and it's a trade union. Puede ser sindicatos, pero también podemos decirle o llamarlo como un gremio. Entonces, el gremio de los, lo que sea, ingenieros, abogados. In this case, would be physicians. So it's a trade union, and it's really hard to make that one of them be against of the others, because they are a group and they know how works and how hard is the same profession. So it's important to keep that in our minds always. We are not against one, we are against the trade union. If we
Right.
want to lose of them, we are against a group.
Yeah, trade union. Okay. Yeah, so that's happened in my country.
Yeah, happens in mine so frequently too. This topic we will start to manage this week, hopefully. And next one, maybe we need a little bit more of time. So tonight at 7 o'clock p.m. Colombian time, we will continue discussing about private law. So you can do something more for these 45 minutes. I just wanted to do it as early as I can, because last time we finished so late because we have 1 hour difference.
Yes.
So I prefer make it first. So I will see you again at 7. Okay?
Okay.
And thank you so much for your time.
Thank you. See you soon.
Okay. Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.
Hi, Anai. Good night.
Good night.
Thanks for coming early. Like my family is quite sick, and I am a little bit, not same, but sometimes I am having like some flu. And at night it's like I'm having some flu attacks. But yeah, I can do my lesson tonight. So we will work for 15 minutes, and after that, I will see you at 7 p.m. Colombian time to continue with the lesson. So imagine that we just made a parenthesis in our topic of private law, and we will discuss a little bit about medical negligence. That will be the next topic that we are checking, because it's a really interesting topic. It's not so known in our law schools, faculties. We didn't discuss it so much, and it's really interesting. So let me know, how was your impression about the video that I sent this afternoon? How did you check it? You understand it? What is your position? You saw this kind of problems in your society? It's common? It's not? I am here listening.
Okay. First of all, it was so interesting because that's true. In the faculty, we don't talk about so much this. And in when I read some cases, the most cases don't have a process because it's so difficult to prove the negligence. Because I think because it's your profession, but you cannot all the moment know. If you are a normal person, you don't know how you need to okay, that was okay the doctor do or not, because you are not a doctor and you don't know if that is professional or is not professional. And happened to me these things, and the more rarely that's in my family. I have most of my family, like the middle of my family, as nurses and doctors. And I'm saying, it's like they told you how is that, and they told me. Some I remember that sometimes they told me, okay, I did this case wrong, but never happened and not happen like so much that something dangerous to the patients. But I'm say, okay, but that's not correct. Because I think it's difficult. Okay, you cannot control, because professional noise perfect. Any professional in this life, I think, is perfect. But you need to try because you are a doctor. It's not like whatever. It's like it's a person. It's a life is in your hands. So you need to do your best, right? So the video was so interesting because talk about these things, talk about the what is the duties, and I think yeah, the duties is the so I know the society don't know what is the duties of the professional, what is the correct, what is the well, how you can know if the professional will do something okay or not. Because something that I see in the court of the here in the justice of minister, I see that, but just at one case about that was about the sexual, because the patient say that the doctor no do like professional when no, when you have something gynecologo, how can I say,
Then when you have your gynecologist, when you
gynecologist,
visit the gynecologist,
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 gynecologist, that's because happened because was a man. It's not normal look a man, the most is woman, but in this case was a man. And the woman said that how this boy like manipulate the body of the woman was not like professional, and she feel like was how can she say, um no, violación, like that. I don't remember, but
no, just like
she said,
abusive sexual act. You can mention it like
yeah,
that.
yeah, but she cannot prove. She couldn't prove in that moment. I remember she couldn't prove. She was like, I feel like that. I know the woman know when you don't feel like that something. If you feel something wrong in your body, because you know when sometimes it's like when someone like look at you normal, and when someone look at you like different. And I think it's the same in your body. And I think the woman, of course, maybe was correct, but she didn't have proofs. And the man said, no, I just did my work. That's all. The process don't continue. That was all. That was so sad because I look is the is a big power that have the doctors, not just doctors, nurses, and of all of these person. But what you can do, I was thinking, what can I do? It's like not so much, because negligence always be exist. I don't think that maybe we just maybe we can read about what is the duties, what is the doctor done like provisions. No, yeah, that done to do in the work, what is professional, you need to difference, what is correct or not. You need maybe read about the doctor, what is the doctors have, what is the responsibility have, and just have information. Maybe just that, because you cannot do other thing, because the person, I don't think the society say, okay, I will read about the doctors and say, when is the doctor is be negligence and when it's not. I think it's like that. So I think it's so difficult. In Bolivia happens so much, really so much in public
Hospital?
hospital, but so much, because I hear and I listen so a lot of times that like in operations, that in surgery,
Surgeries?
yeah,
Surgeries.
here that happened, like the doctor forget an instrument in the body of the person. I was like, oh my god, how you can forget this thing, and happen so much, and not always, but so much is like I have a lot of cases here about that. But Bolivia is like that. I think maybe in other countries like United States and Canada and maybe Europe, in this continent, I think it's not happening so much these things, but in Bolivia, right? And I think in all Latin America. That's all.
Okay. Okay, and as I told you, so we will continue working on private law at 7 p.m. time, Colombia. So maybe half an hour. I will ask you that please you connect again. Then we will have our theoretical session. The theoretical session that we had to have yesterday. And
Yeah.
thank you so much for your time and your opinion. I will have it into my mind when we create a discussion about this topic, because we had a lot of cases that we can use an example for learn how to act, what to do, and we will have some tips around the lesson as is it, because we have some common topics that we can discuss. Okay?
Okay.
So I will ask you that you fulfill the survey when we finish the lesson. So no worries. Thank you so much for your time, and I will see you in half an hour.
Okay, see you later.
Okay, see you. Bye-bye. Sarela, good night. How are you?
Hi, Ali. I'm fine.
Oh, you don't have your glasses on.
I lost it.
Oh, where? How did you lose it? I cannot lose it. If I lose it, I cannot see anything.
Me too. I'm very, very, very blind.
Oh my goodness. So you can see me?
Yes, I was like,
Oh, fuck, I can imagine. And what happened? How do you lost them?
I traveled to Copacabana and I came back yesterday, and I think I lose it there in the Stretch de Tiquina. Would you go in boats because it's a lake?
Yeah.
I
that
think
you need to
I
go down from the bus, cross, and then you.
Yes.
Oh my goodness. But how it's like I basically cannot lost it, because if I don't have it, I cannot see. So
Yes.
you were sleeping or what?
I don't know, because when I am using the mask, the face mask, it's like, I don't know how to say when you breathe.
Yes, like blurry,
yes.
becomes blurry.
Yes, I think.
Oh my God, you need to do the examination soon and have
Yes,
your new pair.
today I did it.
Okay.
And tomorrow I will have new glasses.
Okay, it's just, I don't know if I told you or I explained you girls that I lost my phone 2 times in the same month. The people stolen me, and at the end I buy a new one that has like 4 cameras, and I was like, okay, yes, I lost the money, I lost information, I lost everything, but now I have 4 cameras phone. So it's the way that I just take the best of every situation. It's like I cannot had to happen in that way. I cannot do anything for change the past. So I'm just trying to continue with my life as is it, with new phone, in your case with new glasses. And the important thing is that you are okay. So you will have new pair of glasses. That's it. Okay. So we will discuss tonight about the video that I sent this afternoon. It's really important that you told me what's hard for you, how was the topic, result interesting, results difficult, maybe some specific terms, and what is the situation about this topic in Bolivia. I want to listen at you, and I am here just for correct some stuff if it's possible, and if not, I'm just listening.
Okay, the video was about medicals, no? Well, I saw the video and I watched it, and it's very interesting because in my country there are many cases of negligence. How it pronounced? Negligence. And it's very common, but I don't know if it's like all these topics are in the law, because we I don't know what year was, but I think it was like in 2018, I guess, or 2019, when we have to know a new codic, a penal codic. I don't know how to say it, but
criminal code.
Code. Okay. Penal code.
Criminal. No. Criminal.
No.
Code.
Criminal code. Okay. And in that code, it's supposed to have these topics about negligence, specific in this area. But many people was, I don't know how to say it, se opuso, was las personas se opusieron.
And the people were against.
Were against that, were against the law. And, but it's, I think it has two phases. I don't know how to say it, but because, for example, when you have to, when you want a plastic surgery, for example, the doctors make you sign very many documents about I don't know, if you get sick or if things go wrong. They don't have the, I don't know how to say it, but I don't know. I don't know how to say it. If you get sick or things go wrong, they don't have the a ellos como que no les afecta, no es su problema. It's not their problem. Well, I had my nose, I made, I had a plastic surgery. And when I was talking to the doctor, my doctor was a lady, and she told me, she know I was studying law, and she told me that in these cases, when you are a doctor, it's very difficult because there are the law isn't explained. I don't know how to say it. There are I forgot, vacíos legales.
You can find like holds or illegal holds.
Legal holes.
Yeah, on the law, or you can find like not a complete information about it, and results difficult because maybe the topic has not been regulated.
Yes, yes, it's not very regulated. And she told me that many doctors also study law because of these cases to get to be prepared when there are these cases about negligence, because there is no law in this country to I don't know how to say, to there is no law to I don't know when you I forget um, I don't know how to say it, but uh, when there are these cases of negligence, you no puedes recurrir a ningún.
You cannot go to a tribunal or entity or statement, like legal statement.
Yes, it is not regulated. Here, this is the problem. As I was telling you, it's supposed to be a criminal code, but no, people were against of this code, so it's like in the air.
Yeah. Here is like we have some stuff in our civil code, another one in our criminal law, and we kind of adapt a situation to one case or another. So yeah, basically that happens in Colombia. We have a lot of cases you cannot imagine. We have like terrible, terrible cases about, for example, a surgery that has to be done in a leg, and the doctor opened the other leg. So it's crazy. And when you Google it, medical negligence in Colombia, you will have cases and cases and cases to read that are incredible. So it's like, oh my God! I found an article say that in Colombia you are one step closer to death.
Yes, in Bolivia, it's crazy too, because um, the doctors forget the material uh, inside the person, and they have like I don't know how to say, pinzas, gasas inside their body, their instruments inside their body, and it's crazy.
I can understand, at some point I can understand a little bit of cotton or something that it's so, little, and that it was like imperceptible. But about the scissors, for example, unas tijeras, my God, it's just so crazy.
Yes.
Okay, as I told to your colleagues, we will manage this case with 2 conversationals and 1 theoretical. So when we finish all the private stuff, we will start with medical negligence, and we will have other opportunity to discuss this topic. I want to know, what about the terminology or the terms that were exposed on the video? Did you understand everything? Maybe a couple of things wasn't clear.
Yes, I understand. Of course, there are words I didn't understand, but I was searching. Um, I don't know. I have to study those words.
Yeah, a good alternative is that you put subtitles on the video, and that you check the video a couple of times, and then you try to read every single word. If you cannot understand, go and Google it and continue and do it again. That
Yes.
would help you so much with your pronunciation, and also with the context. And as much time as you can see it or watch it and read it will be easier to manage the whole topic. Okay.
Okay.
So will be so good. No worries.
Okay.
What more we need to discuss? I need that please you go back at 7 p.m. Colombian time. So rest this almost half an hour. And during the session, we will continue discussing some specific terms about private law.
Okay.
And yeah, after that, we will start with medical negligence if it's possible. I guess that we are on our time to do it. So thank you so much for your time. I really appreciate, and I will see you again in a while.
Okay.
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 Bye-bye.
Bye.
Okay.
Hi, good night.
Hello, good night. I was waiting for you.
I'm sorry, I forgot.
Give
I
me a
was
second, please.
okay.
Yeah. Hi. I was just telling mom that helped me with water because I am so thirsty. Okay. So I really want to discuss tonight about some medical negligence. And I am really grateful that you come early because we cannot have lesson yesterday. So I know that we are getting close to your trip and then maybe you are having some what?
No, nothing.
I was like, "Ah." So no worries. When the days comes, you just let me know. But for tonight, you check the video that I sent to the group. Okay.
Yes, about the
I want that
medical
you
liability.
explain to me or that you share with me what was the most difficult part of the video, maybe some terms, and if maybe you have knowledge about one of these topics related in your legal system, or maybe you check something about news. This topic is a parenthesis between private law because medical negligence belongs to private law, but it's a really important topic that we as a lawyers, we doesn't check it too much in our law faculty, so or in our law school. So I really like to do two speaking calls and one theoretical call about it. So for that reason, after the parentheses, we will connect at 7 p.m., like in 8 minutes, to continue with our lesson. And after that, we will continue and having a space for medical negligence. Let me know if you check some cases and what is your opinion from the video. And I am here listening and ready to correct something if it's possible, okay?
Okay, yes, I checked the video and also comes to my head a case that it was so famous up to 3 or 4 years. Sorry, can I connect 1 second my
Yeah.
computer? It's
Yeah, no
going
worries.
to shut down. Okay, sorry. Yes. Okay. There was so polemic because it was a miss that and she was making a liposcultura and
Yeah, an aesthetic surgery. Aesthetic
sorry?
surgery. An aesthetic
Anesthetic surgery, and the girl died in the process. And as you said, there was no like a law or something like that it was regulating. Um, Later, from that case, they start like checking and that type of things. And always here in my country, there are a lot of marchas. I don't know.
strikes.
A lot of strikes from the doctors because they don't have like a law that can protect them. And it's so sad because with the COVID pandemic and that type uh, of Ay, se me fue enfermedades. Se me fue
Sickness.
sickness and the type of sickness. They don't have the security to make the process and things like that. Also, in the last year, a lot of doctors died, and there was no like a law or a rule to help them because they are giving his life to save the people, but the government don't give them nothing. I think that there are a lot of negligence in my country because they don't, I don't know how to say sanitizan.
Sorry, I can't listen it. Can you repeat?
Ellos no sanitizan, no
Oh,
hacen,
yeah, they cannot, like, they are not clean enough.
they
No son
don't
como lo
clean enough,
suficientemente,
and there are a lot
no
of
limpian lo suficiente. Ujú.
clínicas clandestinas. I don't know how to say. There are a lot to make the process of the abortion and things like that, and make the process, the clinic process, up to a low cost, but they don't regulate. There are a lot of places that make that type of process. I think that we need to have that type of laws, as you said, and our health system is so bad. I think that you see that when you was here. It's so bad. That's all.
Okay, and what about the terms that you listen on the video?
Okay, I listen. Me lo cerré porque no sé qué es. DERECHONIVE2.
What about the context?
Okay. First, that the doctor burchad his duty of care by committing an error by ignorance. It's in the first part that he said that in the video says that the patient must prove two things in order to show.
Yeah. Remember that when we are talking about medical negligence, we have some specific terms, but basically at the beginning, the most important thing what about the diagnosis that we can have. And specifically,
Treatment also.
yes, in this diagnosis, we need to provide to the person all the information and that the person gives you all the topics related about maybe some allergies or some specific,
Disabilities.
yes, or some issues that has your family members, for example, I don't know, cancer and stuff. And if the doctor doesn't check all these problems and medicates you, can be involved in medical negligence. Because if I cannot oversee what is happening with my family, maybe I'm having some specific restrictions about the use of some of these substances. So this part of the video is related with that. If you let me know the meaning, I can listen it because I cannot understand your pronunciation. Maybe I can check the context and I can give you the.
I don't know if I write well because it was. I'm going to write.
Yeah.
I was writing so fast.
Yeah,
So,
no worries. Yeah, I will open the video and I can check it. The minute.
Bear chat or is a? I don't know. I can't understand my letter.
Yeah. Yeah. I'm not sure about what you want to say. But if you send me the minute, I can open it and I can listen it from the video and I can tell you what it means. Can you remember more or less the minute? Maybe 1 minute.
I'm looking. In the first minute.
Okay, let's check it. I will listen it here. Did you check it that the audio? I don't know if you can listen or not.
I found it. Ratchet. Yes. I said it.
Okay, when we have roto, es como que roto en el pasado. We have, for example, esto en el contexto depende mucho también lo que va antes y lo que va después, pero podemos estar hablando de un incumplimiento, ¿sí? De un mal actuar. Por ejemplo, a ver, déjame, yo te muestro acá, yo tengo... Tengo como un diccionario especial que nos muestra contracts. Por ejemplo, esto es algo que se utiliza muchísimo en derecho contractual. Y significa contratos incumplidos. Entonces, esta es como la manera en la que tú lo asocias. Cuando nosotros estamos hablando de negligencia médica, obviously we are discussing about the duties or the obligation that the physician has or had and doesn't act in a correct way. And we can refer to breach it. Okay? Breach it.
Breach.
And if we have this without this ed, we just like this.
Breach.
Yes, breach of contract. Breach. Change the pronunciation, almost as como puente.
Breach.
Okay? Yeah, so that means.
Thank you.
No worries at all. We are waiting for your colleagues. I will put it. We will check this topic deeper when we talk about this in our theoretical session. So no worries that I will start from the beginning and I will start to explain to you, to all of you, what is this topic about, because it's so complex and this is one of the most related topics with tort law, because exists a lot of indemnization for the physician mistakes, at least in my country. I'm not sure about yours, because some colleagues tell me that it's not so regulated. So hopefully we can discuss. I will wait 2 or 3 minutes until all of you connect. We are done for tonight. At the end, we will fulfill the survey that will be open for both sessions. So we'll count like for both of that. And I will see you in a second. Okay, girls, good night. How are you? Thanks so much for coming. I really prefer this schedule. Like, we will try to finish as soon as we can. Not like the last time that we recovered the session and we finished like almost 11 in your country. So that won't happen again. I will please ask Andrea that turn on the camera. So as I told you before, we had this parenthesis in private law to discuss this topic from medical negligence, because we will use 2 sessions, 2 speaking calls for talking about this topic. And after that, we will have 1 theoretical session about medical negligence. So I will share with you the IP law presentation. I guess that we finish on this slide. So we will recover the topic. I guess that we lived here. I'm not so sure. So let me know if you can see the presentation right now. Can you see like patents, new, whatever? Then we will check examples of patents. Can you see that? Okay. So we were here, right? Example of patents. The most common ones are technological industry or pharmaceutical industry. Why? Because the same substance, remember that when we are talking about patents, the most important element, apart that the product be completely new, it's that we can have with that product an industrial application. That means that I can do the same here, or I can do the same in India if I use the patent, okay? Now, this is a new topic that has been like involved in all the area about this topic, that is plants breeders' rights. And it's all the people that are cultivating some new flowers or plants, even when they are artificial. You know that some people that are making experiments about biological developments, they start to fusion some plants or to use a mix of cells to create a new organism, or etc. So basically what plants breeder rights means is como los obtenedores o los desarrolladores de estas nuevas variedades de plantas, ¿sí? So this case is one of the most exceptionals that are related with patents. It's like we have this perception that we are God and that we can modify the nature, and we can find these kind of experiments with a lot of animals also. When you find like these genetic experiments about make that, I don't know, a rabbit can have 2 heads or whatever, it's also covered. Of course, it's against some animal rights, as some specific professionals are trying to make it. But for example, when we buy some product, some soaps or some creams, some of them are tested on animals. So this right is not just involved with animal rights, it's also with private law, because depending of the country, we can have allowed that, for example, some rabbits can have the test on their skin to check if it's aggressive with human skin, okay? So plant breeders' rights are rights granted to the breeder of a new variety of plant that gives the breeder exclusive control over the propagating material, including seed. Do you know what means seed? No hemos hablado, creo. Seed means semilla. Okay. Cuttings, divisions, tissue culture, or harvest materials. You know, that is what comes from the plant. of a new variety for a number of years, you know? And this happens hundreds of years ago when the people comes to the discovery a lot of nature. And you can check that even the ones that discover an area or a new plant will call the area or the plant same that the ones that discover it. So for that reason, it's so common that in biological plants, we check that has like, you know, like last names of some experts of the areas and some biological professionals. So it's common. And even these areas, I remember that in Bolivia, you have an area that is really nice, that is in the Amazon, that is called as someone that dies there, but that discovered it. I cannot remember. It was like
Noel Kempf?
How?
Noel Kempf?
Yes. I can't remember if he died there. I have it like in a, I don't know, a cell of my brain has that information, but it's like an example. I cannot remember. I remember that I wanted to go there, but I discovered that you need to go in like in helicopter and with a specific permission, and was like so fucking expensive. So I was like, thank you, I will check it on photos. So for that reason, I always remember. Let me check if I can find it. Noel Kempf Park. Yes, that is this one. I can show you a picture because looks so amazing, and I am so sad that I cannot go in there. Is there, and you need to check this. It's like Brazil and Bolivia, you know. Okay, this is the example where someone that is related with the discovery has like rights over it, but just because of the name, you know. No, it's not that is the owner. It's about like the reputation and how to want to be remembered for. It's like a way to recognize a work. We have different opinions in this area. Some professionals and some experts say that it's not right, and others support it. So there have been contrary opinions expressed by both lawyers or scientists, asserting the general necessity, if one exists, for the official protection of the plant as a form of intellectual property. Currently, intellectual property rights protects ideas that can be demonstrated as being novel and undiscovered at time of its legal claim as intellectual property. As I told you, it's different, but if you check the science books like 10 years ago, you will check that the most of the plants has the name of the ones that discover it. And at the top of the page, you will check like, this plant is called like this because whatever, Pepito, whatever, found it or discovered it in 1977, for example. That is property rights, but not because the plants belongs them. It's just the way to recognize it. As a result of this conflict concerning authority over seeds, it's as I told you, means seed means semillas. Yeah, remember that a couple of years ago, I guess that 2012, when we talk about the end of the world and all that stuff, remember that published that at some point of US, they have a huge cave with a lot of seeds, with the seeds of all over the world, just in case that all we die and they need to replant the whole world. So they have all the fucking seeds all around the world in one cage that is protected with a lot of silver and metals that are completely strong. And this, it's an important because this is the base of the conflict related with seeds. Esto lo voy a explicar en español porque es un poquito complejo. Cuando comenzaron a hablar del fin del mundo, se hizo público como una cueva en Estados Unidos, así súper apartada de todo, súper protegida en contra de miles de cosas, donde están todas las semillas del mundo, en caso de que ellos necesitaran repoblar el mundo, porque íbamos a morir. Entonces, when they talk about it, a lot of scientists start to discover that that was not just against sovereignty, but also that needs to create a new legislation about how United States will implement, because has a lot of control, you know, had all of this has like a lot of power, even if we doesn't check it in that way right now because we doesn't need it. But at some point, if we need it, if we really need it, will be a couple of problems because doesn't belongs to us anymore, you know. So to access intellectual property rights for new plants is where the plants are discovered. But all the new legislation about seeds have been not just implemented, studied, but is the top of the one legislation on all around the world. When we talk about agricultural law, we will discuss a little bit about it, okay? But this is related with intellectual property law. Patent requirement. We have this, we discussed that patents is just in two cases. The product is new or we can have an industrial application to that product. So remember that all the patent has a process. All the patents have a process. And when we need to implement one, we need to follow some requirements. Remember that it's protected by law and depends of the law of the state, depends of the law of the country where you are trying to implement this patent. We have the law of confidence that covers this. For example, confidence secrets, trades, businesses, information. Information have been recognized as a human right also. So we can ask to the courts, the manager for information should be secret and should be following the rules that we are implemented in these cases. I will show you an example, Coca-Cola. They have a lot of trade secrets. It's no way that you can have access to that information. And even the people that work there cannot have access to the complete information. Remember, this is I told you because I studied a little bit about, but remember that when they are creating the product, one person cannot know about all the process. It's like divided, it's some stages, and the people cannot move on from the stages because cannot have the whole information. Just you work doing the base, you work doing adding the gas, you work doing bottling it, you work, and they try to make it in the steps, and they make sure that the people cannot mix or have a mixture because they are trying to protect the law of confidence. Okay, and also in the work contract, in the law contract, when they want to have, you know, access to that work, when they sign the labor contract, they need to make sure that they are agree with all that law of confidence. Okay. Now, how? Do you know what means? Esto, niñas, es por lo que nosotras nos pagan. El know-how es cómo hacerlo. The people knows, for example, about I need to lawsuit my husband because we want to get divorced. Ellos saben que quieren divorciarse. Ellos saben, por ejemplo, gracias, mami. Ellos saben, por ejemplo, que quieren acabar con el matrimonio, ¿cierto? Pero ellos no saben cómo hacerlo. O sea, ellos saben que quieren, pero no saben cómo hacerlo. Because they don't know how to do it, they pay to a lawyer that know how to do it. Know how to do it. The step by step. Sorry, that stop is a step. I just type it fast. Step by step. So for example, if I want to lawsuit my ex-husband, I need, first of all, present a lawsuit. Second, notify it. Third, I need to have an initial audience. Four, I need to show the proofs that he has another girl. Six, we need to prove all the debts that we have with bank, blah, blah. So as I'm showing you, we have an step-by-step about how to do it. The same happened with patent. Depends of the law of your country, you will find this step-by-step about how to do it. And in front of what kind of entity you need to register. And you can sell it one time that you got it, you can sell it to other people. That was the thing that we discovered using Google Patents, that was registered 1,000 times, and each registration has $12 cost. And then they have the register. That is the case of the United States. In our countries, works a little bit different, but I need to explain to you how it works in these countries. So for that reason, I am you giving access to this data, because if you want to go to the bottom to this topic, you can just Google it and try to find more information, because this doesn't work like that in our countries. We are not strong in this kind of access to data. We try to implement some resources from other countries, but that not means that we are dealing with this exactly case, okay? One time that we sell, so we know how to do it, we sell it. And the way that we sell it, the way that we call this selling process is license it. We license it. That is the answer. It is the way that you, the most of the times, will work with patents. You will try to license it. You will try to buy this license to try to produce the same product that has this industrial application in other parts of the world. One of you show me the air fryer example. So as we saw, this instrument was invented like 20 or 30 years ago, but as now we know that become so popular. Someone to use that idea had to make this license for produce this product. Massive production, okay? We have these rules that we shared that is called unfair competition o competencia desleal, es la mejor manera de traducirlo. We talk about this when we are related with commercial law, and commercial law will involve in a way some agreements that are multilateral and that we can share, Bolivia, Colombia, Ecuador, and Peru. We describe this unfair competition related with industrial property law, and they have some cases, but when they produce a concept, it's an interpretation, you know? But that doesn't mean that I have to apply this interpretation. No, it's a different source of law, but remember that from our first session, es una fuente del derecho that is not necessarily become a precedent. Just I use it to give some support to my point, but doesn't mean that is the base of my argument, okay? So in prejudicial interpretation, 322 IP, intellectual property, remember? Intellectual property, of 2015, the Andean Community Court of Justice referred to the faculty that competent authorities have to deny trademarks registrations when they have reasonable grounds to infer that the registration has been requested to commit, facilitate, or consolidate an unfair competition act. Este tema de competencia desleal en nuestros países está avanzado por, o al menos en mi país, por las cámaras de comercio. ¿En sus países existen? ¿Sí? So when we talk about unfair competition, we are talking about an entity, like in this case, we have Some overseas from the Ministry of Justice, but the most of the times is just this commercial entity that oversee that everything is going good and that nobody is copying or nobody is using some protected information and blah, blah, blah. And they take decisions, but the decisions are like concepts. And it's the way that the camera interprets this scenario, but that doesn't mean that we need to apply it, okay? In regards to reasonable indication, the court states that they are those facts, acts, or omissions, which by inference helps to conclude that there is a great probability, una alta probabilidad, that the application has been made with the intent of perpetrans, facilitate, or consolidate an unfair competition act. The court also cited different systematic acts of campaigning companies that are considered as obstructionist conducts on the market. At some point of your life, I don't know how to chat in this group, so I will just send it by your group. That will be easier. Dumping. Sometimes you listen about this dumping and it's texted in that way. Dumping. ¿Alguna vez escucharon de dumping? Imagine that Sarela and me are the ones that has complete control about toilet paper in Bolivia. So Sarela has a company and I have my own company and we control the whole market. But then Anaí says like, oh no, the toilet paper is so with all this COVID situation, is so expensive. I will start to import some toilet paper from Brazil. So imagine that each roll of toilet paper costs $1. And Anaí make that with all the imports and taxes, makes that this roll of toilet paper cost 80 cents of dollars. See? Check. So everybody or the whole market, we comes to buy the toilet paper from Anaí because it's cheaper. So I call Sarela and it's like, let's do that this girl go to bankruptcy because we are so strong in our system. Imagine that the whole Bolivia just buy our toilet paper. So as we have a lot of power, we will make and we will put our toilet paper on 50 cents. So that is an unfair competition act because we are having a contract based on bad faith, but we will make that so fast and I go to bankruptcy. Sí, este ejemplo es la mejor manera en la que yo les puedo decir qué significa dumping. Dumping es cuando los líderes del mercado se asocian para hacer quebrar a los más chiquiticos porque pueden bajar el precio de producción. Como tienen tanto billete, pueden bajar el precio de producción y pueden irse a pérdidas mientras que se deshacen del competidor débil. Porque ya Anaí no va a poder bajar más ese precio del rollo de papel higiénico. No va a poder porque lo está importando por las condiciones del mercado, etc. Eso se llama dumping. Cuando los fuertes o los líderes del mercado se asocian para actuar, para bajar los precios a una manera en la que nadie les pueda competir. ¿Listo? So in different decisions or in different resolutions or in different concepts, the court cited different systematic acts. That means that the people or the companies or the one that represent the companies acts with bad faith and has these obstructionist actions to going against to the market, and they try to sanction it. So they start to analyze these cases, but from a micro point of view. They start to analyze why Sarela and Gali start to put down the market, and they start to check and have the statistics, and they will discover that was because they have a new competitor and then just were doing some dumping, okay? Thus, este es un conector muy coloquial para que ustedes lo guarden. Es como, por ejemplo, siguiendo, avanzando, pero es súper coloquial, por eso lo coloqué para que se lo aprendan. Thus, the repeated filling of applications for trademarks that are confusingly similar, that and cover the same goods, bienes, los mismos bienes, también puede traducirse bienes y servicios. No es como estoy bien, no, traduce algo diferente en este contexto. As those of another companies can be reasonable indications that they have been requested to perpetrate or shape an unfair competition act. Okay? All these concepts, I take it from this page. We're so old, but the concept, you can find it there. And just put about intellectual property law in Peru, Bolivia, Colombia, blah, blah, blah. You will have like the whole context if you are really interested in this topic, okay? So we will stop here because I want to start to talk about medical negligence. That was our topic. And when we finish with medical negligence, we will continue some other topics that belongs to private law. But as we start to talk about medical negligence, we will close this chapter about trademarks and we will evolve to a new topic. After that, we will start to talk about agricultural law, because right now we are like counting time. We are so soon to close our workshop, so I need to move faster. And if for some point you have some questions, just let me know and I will be so happy to help you to find some information or etc. So we are starting with one of the most interesting topics by my point of view of this workshop, and it's the related with medical negligence. Oh, no, sorry. I need to first start the presentation and after share it, because if not, happens our same issue. So give me a second. Now, so when we talk about medical negligence, the first thing that we need to discuss is that from the beginning of times, and I'm so sure that you check it in your law school, we have this kind of fighting with lawyers and physicians about who is the most relevant or the most important for the society. Always we make this discussion because these ones are some of the basics professions. A society cannot survive with a physician and also cannot survive without a lawyer. Why? Because if we don't have physicians, nobody can heal us. But if we don't have lawyers and professionals that regulate the community, will become a chaos because we are completely out of control. If you cannot have the power to put someone in jail, imagine how be our societies. Because if right now that some people can take this kind of decision, our societies are a full chaos, imagine how we'll be without this profession. So this is like fighting that we always are having, lawyers and physicians, siempre. Los abogados y los médicos, y si tienen médicos en su familia, se van a dar cuenta que siempre se van a agarrar con los abogados porque es diferente, que los abogados son más importantes, que los médicos son más importantes, etc. So, some standard conflict seems to appear again and again in the relationship between law and medicine. I found this in a book and I really love it to introduce this lesson. Lawyers are accused of showing undue concern for the past, for formalities, for retribution, and for deterrence, as well as having a basic lack of skill in the handling of human needs. Medical people are accused of disregarding law and the needs of society, and also of often overstepping individual rights in the earnest as good doers. O sea, siempre son reconocidos como los del buen hacer, significa esa expresión. Imperialists within both camps demand more scope for their particular approach. Delinquents, drinkers, psychopaths, or drug abusers and continued battle rage between these major professions as whom these problems belong. Entonces, esto es súper importante porque es un concepto de sociología avanzada y es los delincuentes, los adictos al alcohol, los psicópatas y los quienes abusan de las drogas continúan en esta batalla de decidir ese problema a quién le pertenece. Se puede solucionar desde la ciencia o se soluciona desde el derecho, ¿ok? There are property claims in human and social problems as well as in land. And the conclusion is that we need to solve these kind of issues mixing these camps, okay? If you want, I can take, or I can like stop a little bit and you can take a screenshot or a shot of this paragraph, because maybe you can handle and looking for again this information. But I guess that everything is okay. If you maybe want to ask, I will smile. Sorry. If you want to ask maybe some word that is not clear, do it. I can, oh no, I cannot take it because the photos are covering part of this slide. But basically, I guess that it's clear. Maybe, I guess that is clear. If maybe you have some question, just put it on my chat and I will be happy to answer it, okay? Okay. So we have medical negligence. Medicine and law are probably the two oldest social sciences, as I told you in the beginning. One in charge of ensuring the health and well-being of citizens, while the other regulates relationship between members for the sake of coexistence and progress of the society. That sounds so good. We are so important, really. And the most important stuff is some lawyers that be so passionate about their work and the profession, but also, and it's not just about work with passion. It's also related with do a good job. Imagine that an engineer that works making buildings is a fail on their profession and they make that the build goes down. It's just one building falling, maybe some killing people or whatever. But imagine a bad lawyer. We are involved with a lot of cases. In our hands, we can damage hundreds of people and complete families if we don't do really well our jobs, okay? And depending when we are working, where we are working, sorry. Depends if we are working in public law, private law, labor law, criminal law, whatever, we have a lot of responsibility. For the physician, médico. Es la manera formal de decir médico. La manera informal es decir doctor. Pero physician es como se dice el médico formalmente. For the physician and the lawyer, matters such as life, death, mental capacity, dependency, and etc. Even if we doesn't check it, we are related, and for us it's important the same kind of things in life. For doctors or for physicians are important, make that the people continue alive, make that they doesn't death, that they continue having some mental capacity to be in front of the life. And that is what we can discuss a little bit about where is psychology or where are the psychiatric stuff, but it's important. Dependency, independency, okay? They are common, and when it comes to legislation on this matter, it's not necessary to do it counting with the professionals through their institutions, which includes the entire profession, okay? Medical negligence is the most complicated type of personal injury claim and depends on the country. In my case, as I told you, in Colombia, we have medical negligence that can be solved by a civil law system, but also if it's so cruel and if becomes part of some specific articles, we can manage by criminal law or in criminal courts. Now, two cases are the same, and the harm inflicted can range from the minor to life-changing and may even be the fatal extreme cases. Complexity and the burden of proof means they can regularly take years to settle. Burden of proofs, la cantidad de pruebas. And today, when we were discussing with you in our speaking call about what is the problem with this area, we comes to the conclusion that in the most of the cases, it's really hard that we can prove a case of medical negligence. First of all, because we are not physician and how we doesn't have the expertise, we cannot analyze the wrongdoing or the bad act or the negligence from the doctor. Okay, it's really hard. And other topic that we need to keep in our minds, they are a trade union. Trade union, I will put it on our WhatsApp. Trade union. Sindicato, ellos son un gremio. Es muy difícil que nosotros vayamos en contra de un gremio. Because I can lawsuit a physician and can comes the expert of the whole world and tell me that it was great doing the act of this physician because of the specific context of the case. And there's no way that I can go against that proof if I am not having a physician helping my case, but a physician by my side. And I don't know, lawyers, and I am so sure that you check this in life, but lawyers are so frequently against lawyers. Los abogados casi siempre están en contra de los abogados. Este es un imbécil, ¿cómo fue a no pedir tal prueba? Este caso que le está llevando Pepito Sutanito está mal, tráigamelo a mí, nosotros sí lo ganamos. Todo el tiempo. Los abogados están en contra de los abogados la mayoría de las veces. Los médicos no. They are like a family. It's no way, needs to be like so explicit the bad act in order to compromise the responsibility of a doctor because they never accept that some family member are wrong. They are a family. They never talk back about other physician. They are the opposite of our profession. And I don't know if this happened in Bolivia, but in Colombia happens. It's really hard that you find someone that gives you a professional concept about wrongdoing, at least if you don't have a lot of proofs. Okay? Tú necesitas buscar la manera de probarlo y a menos de que sea muy explícito ese acto de negligencia, as we were talking tonight, like found scissors inside of the body, that is so obvious that was bad practice. It's really hard that we find a case and that we can defend or accuse one of these cases. I was telling one of you that at some point of my career, I was reading a sentence about a doctor that needs to do a proceeding in one leg, you know, like literally cut the head, cut the leg, cortar la pierna, amputar. So imagine that the proceeding was on left leg and the doctor cut the ones that doesn't have any issues. So tenía que amputar la pierna derecha y amputó la izquierda. O al revés. So in these cases are quite easier to prove the damage and the situation. But if we have some case that is like with a lot of problems just because the patient, because the medical history, because the times that takes to arrive to the hospital, and a lot of circumstances, every time it's harder to defend to the physician or to accuse them, because that can be also our work, defend one physician. It's really hard to make that a physician talk against other. Okay, that teach me life and all the sentence that I had to study to become a lawyer. You know, these classes are not free. I start my career with my eyes completely perfect, and 6 years later, I become blind because I read a lot of, and I lost my eyes and my ears, and I become crazy. Okay, so when we need to focus about the connection between law and between medicine, we are talking about legal medicine. That sounds so obvious, but remember, in our criminal court, in our criminal cases, exists a specific area of law that is called legal medicine, and that will teach us how to deal with some specific reflections about death on the dead bodies. Remember the example that I sent it to you about this case that was so mediatic and famous in Colombia? What was one of the most important proofs on this case? That some declarations said of this brother that killed the other one. He said that the night before that the police found the dead bodies, he talked with them and he said like, good night, mom, and good night, whatever, and that they answer. But when the legal medicine professionals arrives and study the body, they discover that their bodies were dead for at the minimum 30 hours. Why? Because remember that when we die, our body start a decomposition process. We start to literally die. For that reason, it starts to smell really bad, and your eyes start to go out, and you start to bleed for any kind of a space that you have. Depends of the death, of course, but you start to bleed and you start to put green, orange, purple. You become like so strong, like nobody can move you. And I don't want to be more explicit, but when I was a student, we went to a laboratory of legal medicine and we saw a dead body and they opened it and was traumatic. But basically, they study, our physicians that study to overcheck what is happening to these cases, okay? So in this case, they discovered that the dead bodies were dead 30 hours, at the minimum 30 hours before that they found it. So that was a really important conclusion that show us that someone were lying in this process. So for that reason, it's so important, this part of practice. They apply it to use medical knowledge or practice, the pathological or the pathologies studies to the purpose to the law that is determining the cause of death. For example, all these ballistic issues, when you can understand if someone hurts you or if it was a suicidal case, depending of how takes the gun, from which angle, dependiendo de qué ángulo. Por ejemplo, yo he resuelto para casos así, porque fue imposible. Hay un tema que se llama el rastro de la pólvora. Entonces, si alguien se disparó en determinada manera, es imposible que haya sido un suicidio, sino que haya alguien disparado. Generalmente, or generally in the cases that I take, I am trying to make responsible some agents, and depends also the permission or the legal permission that you have for using one kind of gun. Because in Colombia, not as US that you can buy a gun when you want it. Here is like so regulated, and you need to have your gun unruled, and at the most of the times belongs to the government members, to the security members, police, army, or etc. Okay, this is also called medical jurisprudence or legal medicine. Es como La medicina legal es el área del derecho penal que nos ayuda a encontrar la relación entre la medicina y el derecho para resolver determinados delitos generalmente. Las causas de la muerte, las horas de la muerte, las circunstancias de la muerte, a qué hora, qué día, lugar, e incluso las inhumaciones, las exhumaciones. Acuérdense que inhumaciones es enterrar, exhumaciones es sacarlo, ¿verdad? Here in Colombia, as I told you, because of the conflict, was really common that these groups that were against the state, they kill a lot of people and they just open a hole and they put all the dead bodies on it. And 20 years later, the people find these holes and they need to start to analyze how they die, where they die, when, who are they, etc. And that is part of the legal medicine, okay? Because they can discover, they can find all the bones, los huesos, and found, for example, some holes from guns, depends of the way that they kill them, okay? And this is part of legal medicine. Now, medical negligence occurs when a medical or health care professional, because can be a nurse, because can be a psychologist, because can be, I don't know, a professional that is not necessarily a physician, deviates from a care standards of their profession and cause injury to a patient. Se desvía de los estándares de cuidado y entonces causa un daño al paciente. Eso es la negligencia médica. Any case that an act from a physician becomes against the rules of experience, for example, that someone has achieved or 36 hours continuous and then try to go to a surgery. It's impossible that someone that doesn't rest correctly can make a surgery. And we have a really high percentage that made mistakes because we are humans. We are not robots. So these kind of tips are parts of create the whole case in criminal law or in civil law, okay, to prove the damages to the patient. Now, we have inside of physicians groups and medical practice and medical negligence, when we talk about physician as a trade union or union that can be called like that, como este gremio, we can have other aspects where the lawyers can be involved. For example, labor law. The physicians needs to have a contract with the hospital. Who designed the contract? Lawyers, okay? Medical prescriptions, medical liability, conditions for work, working conditions, strikes, laws that make that they, for example, in my country, I remember that 4 years ago, maybe 3, all the, ¿cómo se dirá esto? The ones that are interns, because they have a specific practice inside their career, you know, they are not physicians yet, they are students of medicine, and they need to do the practice, they need to work for free for 1 year. This is like law in my country. And they start to do a lot of strikes and to motivate the Congress, and they make that the hospitals pay a minimum salary for that year because it's a lot of work. And they have the same responsibility as a physician, even when they are learning. So all these conditions and labor conditions and strikes and etc., at the most of the times, they will need at the end of the day a lawyer that knows about these aspects, okay? And especially for labor law contracts. In a knowing no fee claim, you pay your lawyer for the compensation and if they win your case. If they don't win your claim, you pay nothing. provided appropriate insurance covered in place, where are no upfront charges or hidden costs. Existen algún tipo de procesos, generalmente aquí en Colombia se llaman cuota litis, en los cuales una persona busca al abogado y si no se gana nada, no se le debe nada al abogado. Pero si se gana el proceso, entonces el abogado puede cobrar su porcentaje. ¿Ok? Este tipo de procesos se llama no win, no fee. Si no hay ganancia, significa literalmente, sin ganancia no hay pago. Fee es como tasa. Acuérdense que fee es un sinónimo de tax, de impuesto, de paga, de dinero, niñas, dinero. ¿Ok? No win, no fee process. And it's like the most of the common way that in my country, they can lawsuit some physicians. Okay? Who pay the consequences? Some circumstances can be never compensated. You cannot pay an amount of money that makes that your mom comes to your life if death by a negligence of some doctors or some nurse or whatever. You cannot have never a compensation from that. You can have some money, but it's not money that can put your family member in front of you again. And this is one of the most important base of this area. We can find a compensation, but it's no way. When we try to discuss these topics with physicians or try to lawsuit them, we have some steps that we need to follow. First is the diagnosis. Second is the complaint. Third is the assessment. Fourth, the investigation. And the last, negotiation. Okay? When we discuss this area, at the most of the times, the easiest way to solve this problem is across negotiation. Okay? We need to check the proofs. We need to talk with family members. We need to talk with the physician and try to compensate in a way with money, whatever, this injury that happens. Okay? We will have other session to discuss this case or these cases. Before you leave, I need that please you fill it out, the survey that right now is open. One time that you fill it, we are done for our session. Thank you so much for accept that change. And hopefully all of you continue good, taking care of this COVID. Don't forget that we are in the middle of a pandemic. So be like conscious about, don't get out of control. And I will see you tomorrow. Okay? Thank you so much for your time. Enjoy your night and bye-bye.
See you tomorrow. Bye bye.
Okay, bye-bye.
Bye, thank you.
Thanks to you.